What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Loot Bros podcast. I'm your host, Resident Daryl, and tonight it's just the Bearded Bros. It's the Bearded Nerd. What's up, guy?
What's going on?
Man, it's just us. We actually did the show in reverse order, and we did a little interview / community hangout section with a friend of the show, Jeffrey Scott Maddox. Glad to have him on. And who knows? So we talked about at the end of the show, we talked about how we recorded for 4 hours. So I think now we've kind of committed, eh?
Hey. Negative. I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I tried. All right. So here we are. This is the Loot Bros podcast. This is your general gaming with a comedic twist podcast. All right. We come together each and every week. We talk about video games, and we talk about them in a way that anyone who's current or retro can all be a part of the conversation. You don't have to play the latest and greatest to get down with us. Am I right, Zach?
I mean, sometimes.
Maybe sometimes. Maybe
sometimes. I mean, we did just play Dead Space for our book club.
There you go.
Our game club. I'm gonna call it our game club, not our book club. It's a book club for games. All right.
That's right.
You get the point.
I did
get the point. All right. And then, this time around, a new game's winning right at this point in time. We're not going to say what it is yet because that'll might sway the votes.
Well, we're playing Ghost of Tsushima for our Loot Bros game club. We have less than 30 days left on this game to knock it out. And then we'll be doing our community review. We'll have some community members on. Our good friend and brother from Down Under, CJ, is going to be back on the show to talk Ghost of Tsushima with us. But tell me, Zach, what is currently winning on the Patreon for the next game club?
Deathloop. Yay!
Oh, dang. What's up? That's dope. I'm pretty excited about that, kind of. I'm excited from the perspective of playing something current, something new, something that's available on Game Pass and PlayStation Plus. But I'm also not, because that's a loop game. Those daggum loop games. I don't like dying and starting over.
I mean, apparently, who is it that played a lot of Returnal? It was Alex, right? Alex played a lot of Returnal. Yeah, so Alex will be happy to participate. Maybe we can. You know what? Maybe we can get Alex on the show. Maybe we'll steal one of their hosts since they steal ours all the time.
Uh-oh, Zach, I've got bad news.
What?
Deathloop is currently tied with Ratchet and Clank 2016 in votes. So Siphon Filter is starting to pick up some steam.
Got it. I need to log on and vote. All right.
Here we go. All right. So check it out, guys. This is the Loot Bros podcast. We have a Patreon, and just like every other podcast in the world, our Patreon, we have extra content. You can get in for as little as $1. Our Patreon is, in fact, the best Patreon out there. If you don't believe me, just ask. So what we do on our Patreon is we have our extra episodes, the Super Loot Bros. We have our Loot Bros Comic Cast, which I'm dropping another episode in there tomorrow. We have the Loot Bros Deep Dive. Now, that is at the $5 tier. So at the $5 tier, you have access to all the other tiers, all the extra content, our monthly Nintendo podcast, Loot Bros Driftcast. And you get voting rights at any tier of the Patreon. You get voting rights to the community game clubs and the things that we play. So currently, the list of games available to vote on for the Loot Bros Game Club number 3 is Halo 4, Man of Medan, Deathloop, A Plague Tale Requiem, The Evil Within, Bugsnax, Ratchet and Clank 2016, Skyrim, Siphon Filter, and Hitman. So there you go. Currently, Deathloop is at 38% of the votes, Ratchet and Clank 2016 is at 38% of the votes, and Siphon Filter is at 25% of the votes.
Come on, guys. You don't want to play Skyrim? You can play
some Siphon Filter, bro. Let's get some of that PS1 love in and get them the trophies and the platinums.
Man, I'm about to go out of town at the end of this month. I'll be out of town when we do our next review. If we have to play Siphon Filter, I'm going to be SOL for like a whole 3 weeks.
Huh? Or you bring your PSP and play Siphon Filter on there.
I have to buy it, though.
Maybe I'll challenge you on our YouTube.
Or maybe you just send me a copy.
The first one's not on there. You'd have to actually play it on PS1 or get it digitally.
See?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you could jailbreak it.
It's a lot of work.
I I've got a jailbroke PSP. I just don't have a ton of ROMs for it. So here's something I don't know, and I'm going to completely derail the whole show. Maybe someone listening, someone smarter than me, will write in and explain to me. The problem I run into is this. I've got a jailbroken PSP. The firmware's on it, but I don't really know where everyone goes to get their ROMs, and I don't know what a trusted website is. I don't know if there's like a media.
I'll send you mine. It's still pulled up on my phone, but technically emulators are legal. ROMs are not. Do not copy games. Naughty, naughty.
Okay. So my point is this, is I don't know where to get my actual like games from if I were to get my games. And I have actually reached out to people on Facebook Marketplace. And I'm like, hey, if you mod my stuff and load it up with everything, I'll pay you. Just freaking do it. Just jailbreak my stuff. I don't even want to fool with it. Like, I'm kind of one of those guys because it's like, I do this stuff and I don't do it right. And I don't know, sometimes I don't follow the directions correctly, or maybe I don't know what the freak I'm doing because I'm not a PC nerd. And then it's like, like, where do I go to get this stuff? Do I use a VPN? Like what is everybody doing these days? As a matter of fact, that's a conversation we should have on the podcast. If you listen to the show and you are a ROM user, a jailbreaker, a hacker, let's have a conversation. Let's schedule a Loot Bros podcast where we get together and talk about jailbreaking and modding our consoles, because that used to be something I was into back in the day. And, now I have zero interest in doing it, but I wouldn't mind having like a PSP with like downloaded versions of the games that I own,
Matt G is the man to talk to you about it.
I was kind of leaning towards that one. I was going to give him the opportunity to invite himself, but I'm sure he's not the only one.
He doesn't get the option. Matt, you're coming on the podcast in the next week or two. I'm sorry, you don't have a choice.
Yeah,
this is how you're going to find out. You're going to listen to this week's episode, and you're coming on the podcast. All right?
Dang it! I didn't want to do this. maybe we can set Matt up with like a little side hustle. He can mod stuff on the side for people.
Just send me the folder and tell me what to do. That's it.
Mods for hire. All right. So like I said, Loot Bros Podcast, we have a Patreon. Obviously, we're pirates and we steal games. Each and every week, we get together, talk a little nonsense, interact with the community. So what I did for this particular week is I saved the community questions that we missed from last week. So last week, there was a handful of questions that came in after we recorded. And so instead of starting a whole new thread, I just kind of saved those for us. And at the end of the show, you will hear an invite from a community member, someone who's been participating in the Facebook group for quite some time. He and I got together, swapped some comic books, had a nice little conversation today here on the podcast about content creation from the little guy's standpoint. And just, like kind of some of the issues, some of the kind of the realities of it for making content. The struggles and just
the good, the bad, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, and just encouraging each other to, hey, stick with it. You guys out there making content, stick with it. So hopefully you'll listen to it and you'll enjoy it. I hope that we provided a nice little sense of encouragement for you. All right. This is usually the part where we toast, but you know what? We did the back end of the front end.
Another slurp.
Are you ready? Here we go. Oh, that sounded nasty. All right, so we
hard drip with the water bottle. I noticed that because it just dripped all over my chin.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. So we toasted to the Patreon producers at the end of the show. So I will leave that.
We still love y'all. Y'all still got a shout out. I promise.
That's right. So why don't we do this, Zach? Why don't we get into some of the games that you've been playing this week?
Okay, so you and I talked about it a little bit briefly. I actually got some trophies this week. We played a little bit of Monopoly. I've been playing a little bit of Monopoly on the TV with the wife and the brother-in-law and his girlfriend. That's what we've been doing before we all part ways and go to bed. So we've been playing a little bit of Monopoly, which is kind of cool. I got the My Monopoly Plus thing. So we actually got to make our own board and stuff, which was kind of fun. And then I started Ghost of Tsushima the other day.
Nice.
Like just the intro was so beautifully cinematic. The brother-in-law's girlfriend literally was like, "Hey, I thought you were watching a show." I was like, "No, I'm playing a video game." I was like, "This thing's dope."
Yeah.
was like, I'm excited for this now. And I got through like the initial part. I'm now into kind of actually using the main character.
Yep.
Jin
Sakai.
And what else have I been playing? Oh, I played a little bit more Mega Man Battle Network.
Okay.
So funny story, actually. I was going to play it last night. I laid down in bed, and I have a twin that I sleep on because we've talked about it before. I snore really loud. My wife can't sleep, so we sleep separately. But I laid in my bed, and I'm laying there, and as soon as I start moving and finally get relaxed, the whole top part of my bed towards my headboard collapses. And all you hear throughout the house is "son of a bitch." And my wife's like, "What happened?" I was just like, "My bed just broke. I'm laying all lopsided. I'm like a perfect right angle triangle right now." And she's like, "Well, what happened? Is it broke?" And I was like, Yeah. So I unscrewed the centerpiece, and I left the headboard and then the one board that's still attached on it. And I unscrewed the one last corner that was hanging on for dear life. And I toted that part out, and then I just took my mattress and set it right in between it. So now I have a headboard, a footboard, but nothing under it. So just that. That's it.
That's all you need.
It was an interesting evening last night. They say when it rains it pours. But yep. So a little bit of Mega Man. What else? I played.
So you Mega Man so hard you broke your bed.
Apparently, I had to beat Dex and Gutsman that one last time. I'm just kidding. Oh, and then we played a little bit of Wheel of Fortune too, because that's on there, and you can play that with your friends.
Nice.
So play multiplayer with that. So me and the wife teamed up, and brother-in-law and his girlfriend teamed up, and we played a little bit of that. So I got a couple of trophies in that as well.
Nice.
I don't think I started anything else this week. I haven't really played too terribly many games. My grandma just arrived here yesterday. So she pulled granny law when my wife was sick and said, "Hey, I'm going to come down and I'm going to help you guys with whatever you need. And I'll probably stay a week or so." And so she's down here. So it's nice seeing her. So I haven't really delved too much into sitting down and playing. Oh, we talked about it. I played more zombies on Advanced Warfare or Infinite Warfare. Excuse me. Bazinga. Yeah, it's just as hard as I remember, but at least I still remember how to do some of the Easter eggs in it.
We need to play that together then, because my son and I have been playing that game, and the zombies mode is kind of difficult.
Which one have you guys been trying to play? Which map?
The first map.
First one, Zombies in Spaceland?
Yeah.
Oh, that one's easy. I get you guys through that one real easy. That one's so it's fun, but if you don't know where to go, get how to do the Easter eggs at a somewhat decent pace, then that big old dude that comes out and starts chasing you around and shoots stuff at you is kind of annoying.
Yep. Well, that, and also zombies is very much like, if you don't know what to do, you just kind of run around killing stuff until you die.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but that's not always fun.
Now the Easter eggs in that one are some of my favorite. And have you guys figured out the part where you can go up in the ice mountain place and actually ride the ride and shoot the little?
No.
Oh yeah. So when you guys unlock the top, it's the one at the opposite end of where you start. It's like an ice mountain. If you go in there and you go up to the roller coaster ride that's in there, you can actually get on it, and they give you the toy guns, and it's like a shooting mini game like you would see at a theme park.
Yeah.
But it actually has real enemies in it too.
Nice.
So, but and then you get tickets to spend on those little carts that are throughout that map.
Dig it. I dig it. Yeah. We played it for a while, and it's cool. It's fun. It's zombies. We got to where we could go through the portal and upgrade our guns.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I really like Cold War Zombies a lot. I think Cold War Zombies is one of the better ones. But we played that with MZ, and me and it's funny because later in the show we talk about MZ again. Wow, MZ hogging up all the airtime. But it's funny. So me and my oldest played Call of Duty Zombies with MZ we were playing on Saturday and Sunday mornings, pretty regular.
Right.
And then my youngest and I played Minecraft with MZ. But yeah, Call of Duty, Cold War is freaking dope, man. I love that game, the campaign and the zombies. But we've been playing a little bit of Infinite Warfare. We just put it in because, like, I believe you can do co-op campaign on that one.
I don't know. My wife's the zombie person. That's like one of the biggest things she'll play.
Gotcha.
Shooting wise, so when I play a shooting game, like that's what we play together. But yeah, so like Cold War is the one we've played the most, and I kind of got sick of Cold War because her favorite mode is Outbreak.
Yeah,
it's fun. Don't get me wrong, but it's just repetitive, and it's very time consuming. It's very time filling.
Yep. You've been playing anything else? I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Nope. I think that's actually about it, sir. What have you been playing this week?
So I've been chipping away a little Splatterhouse. I played Splatterhouse when we did the podcast last week. I'm playing it right now. I am 10 chapters into the game. That was funny because I'm actually going to leave the outtakes kind of in the show, but I was like, man, I'm dying a lot to be playing this game on like normal or easy or something. And I'm like, why am I dying so much? Like, if I really suck at this game? And then I realized I haven't been upgrading my character since the first upgrade you got in the game. I'm 10 levels in and I haven't upgraded my character. So I'm like at this level where it's timed and I keep dying. I'm like, what is going on? There's like, why am I I can't kill anything. And it's like, I keep running out of time. I've died 3 times here. And then I was like, oh, I haven't upgraded my character. Duh. No freaking wonder I'm dying a lot. So I've been chipping away at this game, good old hack and slash, my favorite type of games. I just love a good old hack and slash with some horror in it. Oh, yeah. This game's dope. Shout out Red Beer Rick. He commented on our Patreon thread the other day just about like this game getting a little bit of love and how he enjoyed it. And it's a good game. I really like it. This is one that I'll end up keeping in my collection. And I've been playing some Infinite Warfare, which I mentioned that earlier. Played some zombies with the oldest, and so then we were like, man, we really want to play some Call of Duty, but I don't want to play online with sweaty kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't want to be aggravated, and I wanted to do something fun. So I told my son, I said, back when I had my job at my operations job at the manufacturing place, said I kept consoles in my office, and me and the coworkers would play Call of Duty on break. That's how I met Game Squat, friend of the show. And I was like, man, we should do that. We should just put on the old Call of Duties and just freaking enjoy ourselves and play with bots. Put the bots on hard, play Hijacked and Call of Duty Black Ops 2, and then just freaking get a bunch of kills. You can
do that on Cold War. Cold War has Hijacked.
Yep.
And bots.
But I didn't have Call of Duty downloaded, and I own the physical version of it, and my son's using my physical PS5. So I'm using the digital one.
You can split screen it.
Yeah, I know we can, but it's also in the basement. And so I was like, what we could do? We can just the PS3's here, it's hooked up. I was like, let's put in Black Ops 2. So that's what we did. We put in Black Ops 2. And we just went old school, and it was fun. But yeah, we'll definitely. I mean, he and Paxton were playing Black Ops Cold War today, and they were playing Hijack with bots on there. So they were having a good time. But we were doing that, man, and like that's kind of been our little bit of wind down before bed on the nights that my wife's been working, and that's been a lot of fun. We played some WWE 2K22. Just kind of a couple matches here and there. We played some SmackDown versus Raw 2011, trying to go friggin' really get in there. And I love that game, dude. I've been in my wrestling bag. So last night I was laying in bed watching Gotham. I'm on season 3 of Gotham.
I've never watched the series, and that's a really big weird for me. I think I started it and watched like the first 2 or 3 episodes.
So it's not a great show. Let me just put that out there, right? It's not a terrible show. They take some liberties in it that frustrate me. But that seems to kind of be the nature of DC television shows, is they take liberties, and most of the time they don't work. Every now and again you'll get one that does. Like Arrow, like the first season of Arrow, second season of Arrow, that they took some liberties, but it was great. But anyway, so I was laying in bed and I was getting ready to watch Batman vs Superman again, and I watch that every week. It's just what I put on. And I was going to play some PSP and just lay in the bed, watch BVS until I fall asleep. And then I was like, you know what? There's all these shows on HBO Max, and I don't ever watch anything. I'm like, I've been really watching Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and the Snyder Cut pretty much religiously for the past year. I've seriously watched one of those 3 films, sometimes all 3 of those films every week. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to change it up. So I was like going through it, and I was like, oh man, I watched the first 2 seasons of Gotham and got really aggravated with their direction with Penguin and Riddler. And, I don't really care for Fish Mooney. So I was like, this is kind of lame. I quit watching it. So I put it back on. I started at I watched a couple episodes in season 2, just kind of get myself back familiar with it. And then I went and I switched over to season 3, and I'm like, just kind of getting back into it. I'm like, man, this show's actually pretty good. Like, I maybe now that I slept on it for a little while, and it's I'm really digging it right now. So what I did was I put that on, and then I just picked up my PSP and just started playing some SmackDown versus Raw 2011. Dude, freaking so good. Love that game. I love that game so much. And I can't believe how good the PSP version is. Like SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 is excellent, but the PSP version, it really holds up with how I remember it being. Because my brother and I used to play the ad hoc mode, vehicle to vehicle on our lunch breaks at our old job.
Yep, I remember us talking about that.
Yeah, and so I put that in. I'm like, man, it's got the Creator Wrestler suite. It's got the Hell in a Cell. I'm over here running. I fought. It was me and Undertaker. I was Triple H, and I was fighting the computer, the PC, Undertaker, whatever. And we're freaking playing, and I'm running. I'm throwing him off the side of the cage. He hits me, and I bounce off the side of the cage. I'm like, all the good stuff, man. All the Hell in a Cell on that particular game. I was like, man, this is awesome. I was really, really enjoying myself. Let's play that for a little while. I'll put in Burnout Legends because me and Matt G were talking about that yesterday because I picked up a copy of Burnout Legends in a trade deal on PSP. And so I was like, man, I'm going to play this. I'm so hyped about it. And then when I did, my PSP died. So I was like, well, let me flip over to the Vita while the PSP is charging and just kind of chip away at some Lego Avengers. And oh my gosh, dude, this game has been a very bipolar experience because I really like it sometimes and I really hate it sometimes. And I got to a point where I thought I was going to have to bail off the game because, I want to platinum, as many Vita games as I can until the Vita trophies inevitably are no longer able to be synced. So that will happen one day. They will cut off, support to the PlayStation Network. I don't know when that day is, but I just, have kind of told myself I'm going to keep going and keep doing this until I can't anymore. And so what I thought about doing was platinuming as many of the of the PS Vita Lego games as possible until, inevitably I can't.
Yeah, you're trying to get to 100 platinums on the Vita.
Yep, 100 platinum Vita games was kind of like just a goal I set for myself. So, I'm chipping away at this one. I mean, I beat the game after 8 hours, but the friggin' platinum, one of the guides I saw said it was a 40-hour platinum. Ooh. And I'm like 17 hours into it. I'm like, good Lord, this is taking forever. And I'm chipping away, and I got a couple of trophies this week, but what's so frustrating about the game is some of the objectives in there wouldn't pop for me. They wouldn't, I couldn't do them. And I was like, oh no, this game's glitched. And if you look up the trophy guide, it defaults to the PS3 guide. The PS3 guide is different. The PS3 version is different than the Vita version.
Yep, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, so then you have to go on.
The most frustrating ones are the flight ones for you, right?
Yeah, which I got all that. I knocked all those races out. I got them. But like the one's really frustrating is like you have to go on YouTube if you need a guide or you need help with something. You have to essentially look up the 3DS version because the 3DS and Vita versions are the same. And so I finally get some of my questions answered, but it's not very straightforward. So this particular piece that I needed won't spawn until you've done some missions with certain characters. These missions don't become available until you find those character emblems in the map. So trophy tip for the week. In order to get the platinum in Lego Avengers, you need, before you can complete all the objectives in the open world, you need to go around and find all of the character coins, which Daredevil is one of them, which is great because I love Daredevil. But you have to do these side missions, which is also a trophy, to and unlock Daredevil to get those side missions. Then when you do the side missions, you become Iron Fist in one of them. When you're Iron Fist, then you get the pieces that spawn in the map to create the spring trap. The spring trap then will launch you across the map, and that gives you 2 of your objectives. Finding all 5 and creating the spring traps, and then the other one is popping in all 30 of them. But I was convinced that the game was glitched because when I watched videos, those pieces didn't exist in my map. And I almost gave up, dude. I was so close to giving up. The only way I found this information was I was reading the comment thread in a YouTube video. And someone said, hey, by the way, if you're trying to do this, you have to do the side mission first. I was like, oh, thank God somebody said it. So anyways, so I've been playing that, and I've been enjoying it now that I'm through that part, and I'm really starting to progress in the thing. There's another really difficult trophy, but I think if I get the invulnerability red brick, I'll be able to get this other trophy, of not taking damage on a Loki level. I think that's kind of the workaround for it, but just chipping away. So I think tonight when I go to bed after we record, I'm going to chip away at it some more and try to do a couple more little side mission pieces, and I might pop a trophy or 2 on it, but I'm enjoying it. The only other thing I've been playing, which I know I rambled on for a while, but is Ghost of Tsushima. Really, really love that game. I've been chipping away. Now, I will say this, the open world sections, the traveling back and forth, there is a lot to do on the map, and it kind of unveils itself as you travel. So, but I am finding myself choosing an objective or choosing to do something, then I have like this really long travel time. So I have found myself listening to some podcasts while I play the game, but the game is so peaceful. Like, it's so pretty and it's weird. Like, because you've played it far enough to see how like the wind kind of navigates you where to go.
I actually haven't gotten that far. So where I'm currently at, so this is going to be such a big spoiler for everybody.
Well, it's the very beginning of the game, so
yeah, but I'm at the part where you're just they just killed one of the lady just killed one of the Mongols, and you're going to go get your sword back.
Oh,
that's
okay.
Where I stopped. I stopped very, very early on. I got through the intro cinematic to the tutorial part, and then now I'm the actual story.
Gotcha. Well, so it's once you do the really introductory parts, and it really establishes the game, and you're turned loose in the open world. Essentially, what guides you and navigates you isn't a like a marker on the map or something.
Okay.
You can swipe up on the touchpad and the wind will blow. The wind will blow, and the grass and the leaves and stuff will kind of bend towards where you need to be. It's very interesting. It's very neat. I mean, it's very obvious as well, but very nice and very, very pleasant. Like the game, even when you go into the open world and you have these duels, these standoffs with people where you have to fight, and it's almost like an RPG where there's like random like encounters, like how like Final Fantasy, when you like run into an area and it's like, and you get into the battle sequence. Like, you can be traversing across the world, but across the map, and it's very pretty. It's very peaceful. The terrain, the colors, and the palette. I mean, everything about it is really so awesome. And then it's like, oh, here's a group of bad guys over here. I can hit a button on the D-pad and I can call them out, and we can have a standoff, and I can fight them honorably, or I can jump off my horse, sneak around, and kill them like an assassin, like a ninja, or I can stay on my horse and run over there and smack them with my sword. And it's just, you have options for your combat, and it's just cool. Like, what do I want to do today? But I found myself playing this game very stealthy, and I'm really enjoying it. It has that Assassin's Creed feel to it. Like, Assassin's Creed in the sense that like I want to be stealthy to like not be noticed and to kind of blend in and sneak and get in and out of these places. The problem with Assassin's Creed is once they find you, well, let me back up. The problem with Assassin's Creed games up to the most modern ones, once they discover you, it's not as fun for the combat, in my opinion. Yeah. I haven't played the two most recent ones, even though I own them.
Valhalla is, from what little bit I played, it's not. You can be stealthy, but it's more of that action hack and slash type deal.
I still have it. I got it when it came out, and it's still in the wrapper.
I got it when I know it went on sale at some point for GameStop a couple months ago, or like 4 or 5 months ago, and it was like $15, and I used my $5 coupon. I got it for $10.
Yep. Well, the problem is that's a game I lost money on because that game will never be worth anything, and my copy's still sealed.
You never know if you actually had a copy of every sealed Assassin's Creed game. Sell them as a collection bundle, and it'd be probably worth a good penny.
There is a guy in one of the Resident Evil groups I'm in. He has every single game sealed.
Yep.
Dude, he's got like Resident Evil Gaiden, the Game Boy Color game. That game's like $600 sealed. It's crazy. Like he just was posting in one of our groups the other day. I was like blown away. I can't believe you have all these games sealed. But like it's awesome. Now I've got a lot of them sealed, and I've got some of the more rare ones sealed, but I don't have the original 3. I don't have those sealed. I've got multiple copies of each. But he's got Resident Evil Survivor sealed, which is crazy. That's a game, even when the PS1 was out, like that was a game that I didn't see very many copies ever physically. And I have the only 2 copies I've ever seen because I freaking bought them.
Mine.
Yep.
Mine. Gimme.
I was looking up, I started to price out my Resident Evil collection the other day. Oh, speaking of, I want to tell you about an app. I want to tell the audience about an app. There is a game collection app that I started using called GameEye. GameEye, GameEye. And you can manually enter your games or scan the barcodes and enter your games. Okay. I'm going to hold it up to the camera so you can kind of see just like the layout of your game. Like it puts them all on here, and you can sort them by.
Yeah, I think we talked about this before.
Console. You can sort them by price. You can sort them alphabetically, whatever. You can go to report, and the report tells you like everything you've scanned in, what system you scanned them in for, and how many you have, and what your estimated worth of your collection. Because it uses it plugs into price charting, and it'll tell you kind of what your games are worth. So, like for example, I have now I know this friend of the show, Jared. His collection is probably worth a mint. I have the back in 1995 limited edition from East Asia Soft PlayStation Vita game. I have it sealed in the box. I've never opened it, and the according to price charting, the price on it right now is $247. So it's pretty big.
Money.
Yep. So and I got a few other ones sealed like that. I've got I think 6 sealed Vita games. No, maybe it's 8 now. I've got 2 sealed copies of MLB 14. So it's only worth $25 because it's an MLB game, but sealed. So anyways, it's cool. So I went through and I scanned in my Vita collection this past week, and I started scanning in my PSP collection. You want to take a guess how many physical Vita games I have?
162.
Oh, I wish. Jeez.
No, all right. Real guess 73.
Okay, that's a good guess. I've got 82.
Okay. Yeah.
It's funny because it says unique, like rare games. I have 73 rare games.
Ooh, hey, I got a number right.
Yeah. So, and then I've only scanned in 7 of my PSP games, so I haven't really got very far with that one. But yep, I've scanned in. So I scanned in Resident Evil Deadly Silence, sealed, $188. So that's pretty cool. I scanned in a couple of VR PlayStation games that I picked up yesterday. I don't know if I'm going to scan in my entire collection, so I probably should. but I really wanted to keep up with my PSP and PS Vita stuff with just the physical, not the digital, because you can list your digital games on here too.
Right.
But what I wanted to do is I want to keep up with the physical, because when I'm out in the wild, I'm like, oh man, do I have this? It's like, for example, I picked up a copy of Smart As the other day, and I couldn't remember if I had it loose, complete in box, or sealed. And I did have it sealed, and I picked up a loose copy. That's fine. I don't care. I mean, I'm going to keep picking them up. I've got 2 copies of Call of Duty Black Ops. I've got 2 copies of PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale. So,
all right. So this is just going to be a little heads up for you. If you can find it anywhere, it is worth quite a bit of money.
Here we go.
And some people might not know that it's worth money because it's Fortnite. An actual physical sealed copy of Fortnite is worth a lot of money, and not a lot of people know that.
Yep. It's because they only put them out physically in the very beginning, and then every box since then was digital. Yep. I do not. I have 6 Fortnite boxes. All of them are empty.
Bum, bum, bum. Because they're all the little bundles or whatever that came after that. Yep.
Well, that or the DLC pack, and a lot of times my kids would get them. Like, we found them on sale, or they had credit, or they had a gift card to GameStop. And so instead of going in there and getting using a gift card to get a gift card, we just use the gift card to buy the disc. I mean, the box with the code in it. So, but either way, very interesting stuff. So I just thought I'd share that with you. Game Eye, it's cool. I've been using it. I'm gonna scan in my entire PSP collection this weekend, and which is, it realistically is probably only 150 physical games. I mean, maybe not even that many. So, but I was actually surprised I didn't have 100 PS Vita games. So I only had 82. So I kind of feel bad because I sold a few of them a few years back.
That's just physical though. You'd have digital stuff too, right?
Oh, hundreds. Yeah. Digital. Everything. I've got a lot of digital.
It's because you have a lot of Ratalaika games.
I do have a lot of Ratalaika games, but also when PlayStation 3, 4, and Vita were out, you would get a game and you would get all 3 versions of it. So, and a lot of PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita games, like indie games, like, dude, they would give you free ones and you'd get both copies. So there's a lot of good stuff out there. So, anyways, I have absolutely no clue where we're at in the show because I've been rattling off so long talking about playing games and collecting games.
Talking about what we were playing, and then we were talking about collecting. But okay, so perfect transition. All right, Daryl, you've been playing some games. You got some trophies this week, so let's move on over to our True Trophies leaderboard.
Let's get it.
First place with 4-digit numbers still, Affectation Stonk with 1,240 trophies.
Amazing,
dude's nuts. Redbeard Rick with 72 trophies in second place.
Nice. That's good. That's good.
The Grounded Gamer in third place with 43 trophies.
Nice.
Speaking of Returnal, he's been playing Returnal. Steigen Wolf 4 in fourth place with 30 trophies.
New name. Hadn't seen that one in a while.
And then I'm styling on your bro with 23 trophies. And then you are right there at the bicuspid. You're in sixth place with 19 trophies.
Nice. Yeah, like I said, I played a lot of retro stuff today, technically, or this week. So, I got a reprieve.
Yep, that's and you know what? I'm pretty proud of myself. In the past couple of days, I've gotten 12 trophies. So
nice.
But heading on over to our True Achievements leaderboard, in first place with a total achievement point score of 6,245, Mr. Sony Pony to you. He's been playing some things, obviously, and then actually following up not too far behind, still a whole platinum's worth, but not too far behind. I'm styling on your bro with 4,340 achievement points. We got Sadik. Sadik has been dethroned this week. He is in third place with 510 achievement points.
Oof.
And then we got GDI Master Race in fourth place with 220 achievement points.
Trophy.
Wow. And then in fifth place, yours truly with 110 achievement points. I guess I played some Streets of Rogue this week at some point.
I just got another trophy.
Do.
There you go.
Hey, Daryl, you were almost on there.
Almost.
It shows you have 0 achievement points, but it shows the last one you got was in Minecraft for your phone.
Yeah. So we actually turned on the Xbox this week. I hooked it up. I turned it on. I updated everything. And I forget what I was trying to play. We played Roblox. I forgot about that. We did Tuesday nights is our family night. Okay. Right. Tuesday nights, there's no karate because it's a black belt only class. We don't do soccer on Tuesday nights. We have soccer on. My oldest started playing for the middle school now. So we have soccer on Monday. We have soccer on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Then we have games on Saturdays until he has games with his actual league. And so Fridays and Saturdays, we kind of try to make up with karate. So make sure that they got something, that they got all their classes in. And so Tuesdays is the night. That's the night. And we don't have anything. So that's the family game night. We do stuff as, with the 5 of us. And the kids wanted to play Roblox. And I hate Roblox. I think the game is absolutely trash. But that's what they wanted to do. My wife said she was down because she could play on her tablet or play on her phone. And so we everybody got together. We played this game called Doors in Roblox, which is essentially a first person horror walking simulator kind of thing. Okay. It was interesting. It was interesting. So we played it. It was fun. I mean, the frame rate made me kind of nauseous, which is weird because that's not the first. It's not the first Roblox game that made me nauseous. There's been a couple of them that give me motion sickness playing them. So it's got to be something in the frame rate, but I don't know what it is. And but we played it we played several rounds of it. And if you play Roblox, I recommend Doors because it's actually a pretty well made game for a Roblox game.
Yeah, we don't do Roblox here. I've never touched that game, and I never will.
Well, you can play.
Well, let's say that. Until my child eventually somehow gets exposed to it.
Yeah. Yep. So you can play it on the tablets and stuff, but it's also on Xbox. So I don't want to play on the mobile. I want to use a controller. So I played with my Xbox controller. And it was good.
Deal. All right. So what's our backlog beat down looking like?
All right, so in first place, we got I'm Styling on You Bro with 136. We got CJ with 98. He's about to break 100 points. We got Diego with 92. Myself, Resident Daryl with 89. We got Rebby Rick with 82. We got Gareth with 67. JT with 59. Joseph Priestley with 57. We've got Jared with 39. We've got Yield with 36. Alex with 33. We've got MZ with 30. Sadik with 26, Kalai with 22, James the Nerd, Noah the Builder, and yourself, Zachary Ledford, with 21. Got Tricky Mick with 19, Dino Killer with 10. Sounds like you guys are both about to get some points.
She's So I've just lost track at this point. Honestly, we actually started playing Dead Island together last week, and I completely forgot about that. But she beat a bunch of games and she just didn't tell me she beat them because she made me trade them into GameStop the other day.
Oh, dang.
And I was like, you know what? I'm not counting your points anymore. You beat a game, you tell me you beat a game, and then I'll add you to the tag it.
Tell her rules are rules. Can't be cheating.
I was like, okay, did you? She was like, yeah, I beat that. I was like, you beat all of the Lego Harry Potter. Because she had the collection for Nintendo Switch. She was like, yeah. And I was like, and you beat, yeah. She's like, yeah, and I beat Lego Jurassic World. And I was like, bro, you need to start telling me about this because them some points.
Yep. Speaking, it's funny you say that because I'm going to do those games next after I platinum Avengers. So I think I'm going to jump into Lego Jurassic World first because that one is one of the better games.
It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, I like that one. I've played a little bit of it, but I like it better than, I've been playing Lego Harry Potter and it's not bad. I mean, it's just, I don't know.
It is very comedic.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. So, but yeah, I'm gonna knock those out. But all right, so we got nothing else has changed from that point down. The ones that are on the bottom are still on the bottom. They haven't entered anything in, so we'll stop right there. So, That is the Backlog Beatdown. If you'd like to participate in any of these things, all you got to do is write in the show. If you want to play the Backlog Beatdown, send us a picture of the credits of the game you beat or the trophy achievement stamps, the pops, whatever. And then use the hashtag BLB3. We will enter you in on our spreadsheet, and you might have a chance to get your name read on the show. And the cool thing is you can still join and potentially make your way up, depending on how many games you beat. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I can't believe Kalai's beating me right now. I need to do something with my life.
Yeah, well, you just need to stick with something.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair.
So, I mean, I'm the same way. I just named like 7 or 8 games that I played like 30 minutes to an hour a piece of this week. What good is that? I could have beat one game, but instead I played a lot of games a little bit.
Yep, I have the same problem. Honestly, I just feel like I haven't found that one game that's going to hook me right now that I start playing and just don't want to stop playing.
I get it.
Like I wanted to no, I actually, in all fairness, if we haven't been doing the family night thing, like every night since I started playing Ghost of Tsushima, I've wanted to go sit down and play it. But then I'm like, they want to spend time together. I guess I'll do that instead.
Same here, man. Same here. I was like, well, it's like the kids. They wanted to play a little bit of Call of Duty. They want to play a little bit of wrestling. And I just can't say no, you know? Like the only thing I say no to right now is just playing Minecraft. But if my son doesn't actually want to play, he wants to start brand new levels and start over. And I can't stand it, dude. We've got levels that we've been working on for years. And I'm like, let's just pick up where we left off. Like, I can't give up that progress. And he's just like, oh, start a new world. Why? Why would you do that to yourself? We have everything where we live. We have everything. It's like saying I want to start a new house and not take this one with us. Or take our stuff.
You know how many times I've started a new Minecraft world with a couple of friends because they're just like, yeah, let's start over. I'm just like, why? We have a nether portal already. We have all of this stuff. We have a farm inside, like, why? They're like, we just need to find a new spot. We'll go somewhere else. We'll start a new world. I'm just like, all these hours of work for nothing.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I can't do it. Like that's the only thing I say no to. I freaking played Roblox. I can't start over. It drives me crazy. So when that's like right now, like I picked up Burnout Legends for the PSP. I really, really, really want to play it. And I was like, man, do I need to start another game? I'm like, just finish something. I need to finish some games. So I was playing that Dragon Ball Evolution. That game's only got like a 2-hour campaign in it. And the fighting is actually pretty good. I took it out to play wrestling. I played a couple matches of wrestling. And I'm like, well, I'm not really gonna play the whole story mode of 2007 on the PSP. So then I was like, let me put in Burnout. I'm just like, what's going on? I'm all over the place.
Oh, actually, you know what? I did play one more thing. I did play 2K22 this week. I started over the My Rise mode, and since my first playthrough, I went with Raw and did the whole thing on Raw. Now I'm going through and doing it on SmackDown.
There you go. It's dope, man. It's dope. See? Look at you playing games and sticking with stuff. So, Mark, well, here we go. Before we get out of here, because technically we've already recorded the latter part of the show. So, before we get this segment into the community questions, I got a question for you.
Okay.
I
have an answer.
So we're looking at the Backlog Beatdown. Okay. You've got 21 points. What's your goal?
So my goal for this year is to play and beat a couple more games. I don't really necessarily I know I'm never going to hit that 90 points or the 100 points that's up at the top right now. So I'm actually looking at goals for next year. So my goals next year are, and this one's more achievable than hitting 100 games that me and Joe were talking about earlier. Like way more. My goal for next year is to, from this point on, by the end of next year, I want to beat 50 games from now until December of next year that are 10 hours in the main story or more.
Okay.
So I want to be legit.
Oh, okay. So no spam.
Yep. I want, I want to like all the Mega Man games. They're considered RPGs. And they're all 10 plus hours. Pokemon games. I really, really want to play. I actually really want to play through all of the Pokemon games from at least one game from each generation all the way up again. And then my goal before the end of this year is I want to get my first platinum before the end of this year.
Okay.
I want to achieve my first platinum, and like I said, I think I'm, now that I have a PlayStation and I can do that. I think I'm going to pick up the Spider-Man Platinum. That's my first one.
Do it. You said at the beginning of the year that's what you wanted to do, so I think I encourage you to stick with that one. So,
what about you? Where do you want to be? You want to beat all the jabronis?
I don't know. I don't see myself beating Stylen. I'd really have to get serious. I think he's kind of coasting his lead right now. So I'm at 89 points on the backlog beatdown. I wanted to get to 100. I think I'll get to 100.
Yeah.
So I don't actually. I'm fairly positive I can get to 100. You know,
that's only
this month. Yeah. I could do that this month. But I'm going to get to 100 on there. I'm going to 375 platinums for the year. I think I'm at 370. I've really slowed down. Like this year, I've only gotten half a dozen, maybe 10 platinums. I don't even know. I have not got that many of them, and so I think I'm gonna pump out about another 5 more for the year. So I don't have any crazy goals. You know, like I want my number 400th platinum to be Resident Evil Village, so I'm just kind of sitting on it. I've got 2 more trophies to go, and they're aggravating, so I'm not in any hurry to do them. But I want my 400 platinum to be Resident Evil Village, or at least a Resident Evil game. So I will say this: my son and I recently played through the DLC, the Lost and Nightmares DLC of Resident Evil 5 on PS4. We had a blast with that. So we're going to do the Desperate Escape DLC here soon. But I don't know. Next year, once I can freely play games again, like games that could be considered spam, like I'm not going to go. I really don't think I'm going to get crazy into it. But like I've got some games right now that like I want to play. One game on the Vita specifically, but like it's a beat 'em up, and it would be like that's what I like to play on the Vita. But it's like a 98% like trophy pops. It's definitely spam. So I'm like, I can't play this. I got that totally awesome Journey, whatever, that CJ had me try out that time. Like that game I want to finish. Like every time I see it on my dashboard, I'm like, dude, I want to finish this game. This game's weird as freak. So I got a few games I want to knock out that I'm ready to just kind of coast the rest of this year into. And then next year I want to set some stronger gaming goals. But I really want to focus on content creation, you know? Like maybe not as much. I'm still going to play games, but I think I might slow down. Like once I get to 400 platinums and get through this year's backlog beatdown, I might slow down on my actual. I'll put it to you like this. I'm going to play the horror games that come out, and then next year I'm going to focus on the game clubs, and that's kind of where I want my focus to be. You know,
and I agree on that. You know, like, and we've been talking about it. You and I are kind of on the same train. We have some aspirations and some goals that we want to achieve, and you know, playing video games is fun, but to achieve some of those, we're going to have to put a little bit more time to those.
Right. So I think from there, I've kind of already been wrapping my head around like just the idea of jumping into everything and playing everything. I want to do more retro stuff too. So I don't know. I'm just, I'm not going to stop with trophy hunting. I'm not going to stop playing games. So I don't want it to come off like that, you know, but in the same respect, like later in the show, we kind of announced one of our projects, and I'm like, man, I want to do more stuff in gaming with that.
Right. Yeah.
So that's,
you know, and then like right now, like as we're sitting here talking, you know, I'm almost finished with the outline for issue 1 of a comic that I want to write. You know, I've already gotten almost 2 pages of stuff of content ready for this, because it just hit me today, and it just wouldn't stop.
There you go.
It's still just coming out. So, you know, like I may not be gaming right now, but at least I'm pursuing one of those aspirations, you know, and it's still something, you know, that near and dear to this community and the people that are a part of it. So
heck yeah, dude. Yeah, that's all good. That's all good. All right. So we do have a few community questions to get to before we get out of here. And I definitely did not just close the document. So don't worry. I'm not clicking around right now trying to bring that back up.
Fired.
I have them. Do what?
Fired. You're fired.
It's like I've got to click over to it. I clicked right out of the game. All right. So Veranza writes in. And she says, why is Tricky trying to make me turn against my husband about Breath of the Wild? Now, for those of you guys who don't know who Tricky is, Tricky Mick, good friend of mine. He's the host of the Trophy Skanks podcast, Trophy Horse. And he is a Breath of the Wild hater like myself. You know, that's why we're friends.
Same.
And look at there, see, three-way romance. And he is also the owner and operator of ProvenGamer.com. So he says that Breath of the Wild is a game, but it's just not a Zelda game. So Veranza wants to know why Tricky is trying to, I guess, turn her against her husband. And I got to say, well, maybe Tricky's just trying to help you acquire better taste.
Yeah. Breath of the Wild is not a real Zelda game. I said it.
Boom. I played Breath of the Wild for an hour and I thought it was very boring and I never went back to it.
So I've never fully played a Zelda game. I'll admit it. I've played bits and pieces here and there. I think I said that last week and I was talking about emulating stuff. But I have watched a full playthrough of the first game. And yeah,
I played that game.
I watched the whole first playthrough of the first one. And then I've watched a lot of Ocarina of Time here and there and stuff like that, and Majora's Mask, because those are games that people really hold near and dear to their hearts. And watching Breath of the Wild, it's an RPG. It's not a Zelda game. It's an open world RPG. It's literally Skyrim with Link.
Ooh.
I hate to tell you guys, but that's all it is. It's not a real Zelda game.
Dang, he's coming in with the facts. So I played the first game to death. Like that was one of the only games I owned when I was younger. I had the gold cartridge and I played that game so freaking much, dude. It was great to the point of I was sick of it. And I hear the music. I don't have good nostalgia for that game for whatever reason. There's no reason why I should not enjoy it because I played it so much, but it's just one of those games that I played to literal death. And I don't know. I don't look fondly back on that time. Now, that being said, the next one I played, I believe, was like Wind Waker on Xbox. Oh, no, geez, Nintendo 64, or is that maybe Majora's Mask? What was the first one that came out on Nintendo 64?
Let's find out. N64 Zelda.
That was I played in N64. That was it. And I just remember it was the one. Yeah, okay. So Ocarina. So that was the one where you had the bow and I don't know. I don't remember enjoying it, but I also don't remember finishing it. So maybe my time with Zelda hasn't been fully explored. That being said, when the Switch came out, one of my son's friends got the Switch, got Breath of the Wild, came over and spent the weekend with us, whatever. And he's like, hey, we're going to play PlayStation. If you want to try these games out on the Switch, try them out. So I played Mario Odyssey for a while, and I played Breath of the Wild, and neither one of those games really grabbed me. And I was kind of hoping, because Mario Odyssey kind of has all the trappings of like the Mario 64, Mario Galaxy, Sunshine, stuff like that. I was like, man, I'm really going to like this. This is going to be awesome. And I wasn't really feeling it. I wasn't feeling the hat stuff. I wasn't.
Yep, we talked about that. I'm not. That game was that game bored the crap out of me. I do not know why it is still as expensive as it is. Honestly,
yeah. That was my thing. So, and that was kind of when I just realized that maybe these aren't for me anymore. That maybe I'm just not into these games, and that's totally cool. Now, I will say this: I have my Switch. I've been playing my Switch a lot more lately, and I own the Mario collection on there, and I love it. I sat in bed not too long ago and played a little bit of it. So I don't know. So why, to get back to the answer, why is Tricky trying to turn you against your husband? Maybe he's trying to help you. Maybe look at it like
play better
Tricky.
games.
Yeah, Tricky's trying to help you play good games. Tricky knows.
That would be a first for Tricky, actually.
Hey, you know what? You got to be good. You got to start somewhere. So,
you know what he started with?
What's that?
Tap, 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 tap in that mayo jar.
That's right. That's right. Made him the man he is today. The Mayo Man. Oh, dude, he's gonna spam so hard. I'm worried about him. I'm gonna have a
take a whole week off of work as soon as the first.
Oh, dude, when we're back on the spam train, like this dude, he might OD. So he might relapse so hard he might OD. So I gotta be careful. I gotta look out for my boy Tricky.
Are you gonna hear Daryl? All you're gonna hear is Daryl. I got my 1,000th platinum, Daryl.
You gotta. I'm dead. So Veranza also writes in. She goes, "Do I really need a Steam Deck?"
I don't have one. I really want one, but I am not paying $600 for a computer. A portable. No, hear me out. A portable computer that has less memory space than my Xbox.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I say yes. I say your husband has one. You need one. Tell him to pony up.
But I mean, in all fairness, you do like Raft, and you like these other games and stuff like that. These creative building games, and you know, if you want to travel around, or if you guys just want to sit in the chair and you want to play Raft instead of sitting at your desk and playing Raft, yeah, go for it.
That's right. Why not? I ask. Why shouldn't you have one? That's the real question. You know, if my wife wanted a Steam Deck, you know what she'd have right now? A Steam Deck. So I'll just put that out there, Matt.
So what you're telling me is she wants a Steam Deck? Your wife wants a Steam Deck, Daryl?
I mean, if she wanted a Steam Deck, she'd have a Steam Deck. I'm just saying. I'd make sure she had one. So just throwing that one out there for anyone who's listening. All right. And then Veranza also writes in, says, who else is really excited for the new Harry Potter game? Oh, and by the way, trophy.
Wow.
I'm super stoked about it. I am I'm new to the Harry Potter franchise, to Hogwarts. And my daughter is very much looking forward to this game, and it looks very high quality. So I'm stoked, man. This is the last trailer we saw at the State of Play had like a little spooky tone to it. That looks pretty cool. And right now we have all 8 films in our van, and the DVD player is constantly playing Harry Potter. So we've recently gone through Deathly Hallows 1 and 2, and we're back on the Sorcerer's Stone now. So we're just we're just marathon Harry Potter. So like when we're driving, I just hear Harry Potter all the time. So
that's kind of that's actually, so my wife and I, we have traditions every year for like holidays and stuff. So that's like our Christmas tradition is every year during the Christmas season in December, we'll binge watch all of those movies.
Heck yeah.
That's kind of our Christmas thing, because the first Harry Potter, big emphasis on like Christmas and everybody getting together, and they were there by themselves during Christmas. So
36 presents. Last year I had 36 presents.
How many are there?
And we'll later on today we'll go get you 2 more presents. So what a brat. Right. All right, I'm styling on you, bro. He commented on this one. I thought it was fair to bring it in. He says he's excited for the launch of Harry Potter, but he fully expects the launch to be broken. And the reason why I put that in there is because I kind of wanted to chime in on it and say, you know what, I do too. I do as well. I'm worried about Gotham Knights. I'm worried about the Hogwarts. I'm basically worried about every effing game anymore because they're all broken when they come out.
I'm worried about Halo never being given back to a good studio ever.
Oh, those days I'm done with Halo. I have to be. It's sad.
We have to hold out hope.
Yeah, I mean, I've been holding it out for a year, Zach, a year, and they said,
"You're telling me."
Sad.
I literally like was so hyped for Halo Infinite that Rockstar did like the exclusive art cans for Halo and stuff, and I have all 5 of those cans, and You know, I was gonna buy the game and get the steelbook and all that stuff, and I was just like, nah, the steelbook ain't even worth it. After I was like, the campaign was fantastic and I enjoyed the story, but other than that, this game's
Well, it's frustrating because I'm like, I just wanted to play it with my son, you know, and I didn't want to have to buy. At the time, I guess I didn't have to, but it didn't have co-op whenever we played it.
right.
So I was waiting. Now I have to buy another console or play it on PC, and it's just I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess I could stream it.
You can play it with me.
Yeah, I mean, I could, and we should. I mean, I should, but I'm frustrated, man. I just want Halo to be the king again. I want the conversation to be like this. We have The Last of Us. We have Ghost of Tsushima. And then the Xbox be like, yeah, well, we've got Halo. And I'm like, ooh, say it again. You know what I'm saying?
I want those days back. I want a good enough Halo game where all of these guys that are playing like Shroud and Nick Merckx and all these guys that are playing these shooting games competitively, like I want to see Ninja back in the Halo multiplayer competitive scene.
Mm-hmm.
I want all the old school guys to be like, this multiplayer is freaking phenomenal, and just hop back into it. I want that surge again. I want that rush. I want the MLG. I want the Major League Gaming company to open back up. Say, hey, Halo did it. It's Halo's fault.
Yeah. I miss that, John, dude. I listened to this Xbox podcast called Defining Duke, and man, it's just like they were talking about E3. And I was listening, like, do we want E3 to come back? If E3's come back in a physical form, like, what are we expecting? And they were sharing, like, excuse me. They were sharing, like, just memories of E3 and stuff like that. And I was just like, God, dog, man, I remember just Halo being shown off at E3 and just, I remember being so hyped, dude, and freaking, and then I was like, oh, wait, Halo 5. Oh, yeah. Master Chief Collection. Oh yeah. Oh, Halo Infinite. Oh yeah. I'm like, ugh, dude. They just keep hurting me. And I know I've been talking about that a lot on the show, but man, I'm so sick of 343. Like, I wish that our show. I wish that our show was big enough sometimes to where like people would listen to what we said and actually change things. But because we're so small, it doesn't matter. But that's what's so frustrating about it. Is like we're the ones that would play your effing game, you know. Yep. Like we're the ones that would be rallying the team to get together, and we're the guys who did the LAN parties, made your freaking game successful in the first place. You know,
Microsoft. I have Cortana tattooed on my arm. Please to me.
Yeah, but it's just like, oh well, our show doesn't do enough traffic for anyone to listen to any of the crap we have to say. But it's like, dude, I'm sure you can pull back in the old. In the archives of the Loot Bros podcast, me calling for 343 to be pulled off of Halo a long time ago, you know, and that's not new, but it's just frustrating because I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, I've been saying get rid of Monty Ross for years, and well, just the upper management at 343 in general, and nobody wants to listen to old dumb Resident Daryl, little Sony pony Resident Daryl, but here we are, finally they freaking getting rid of her. Like, jeez. So,
yeah.
But anyways, all right. That's probably enough rambling for one night. I don't know about you.
Well, we do have an interview to get to.
That's right. So this wasn't quite the 4-hour podcast we promised, but it was close.
Yep, it's 4 hours in all of our hearts. It'll get you through half your workday.
It's 4 hours in dog years. So there's that. All right, guys. This has been the Loot Bros podcast. Thank you, Zach, for coming on here and chatting it up with me. Thank you guys for participating in the Backlog Beatdown, supporting us on the Patreon, jumping on the leaderboards and flexing your e-penis. Thank you for all that you do and all the support. We're going to jump into our interview now, and we'll see you guys next time.
It's the Loot Bros podcast. We're going to talk about video games and mow your grass. Loot Bros podcast. We're going to talk about butts and slurp and penises. So stay tuned.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Loot Bros podcast. All right, this is the interview portion of the show. Tonight we have a very special guest, a friend of the show, someone who's been in our Loot Bros Facebook for quite some time, a content creator, comic book fan, I would say, game fan, PC gaming nerd, maybe, all these things.
Yeah.
All right, we have Mr. Jeffrey Scott Maddox. How are you doing tonight, buddy?
Good. How about you?
We're good. We are good. Zach and I are hanging out in here. We've been talking shop. Doing the best show. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this has been the best show we've ever done up to this point.
Oh yeah, every day, every time it's just me and you, we're going to talk for 2 hours straight, and
That's right.
and they're just going to get the meat and potatoes at the end.
That's right. As far as I know, we've already recorded for like 4 straight hours. Like there's no telling. I mean, this is probably the best show we've ever done. It's probably, we might set some records on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, all that stuff.
I didn't sleep tonight. You know, I'm about to roll back into work after this.
That's right. I tell you what, we've been recording for so long. I have to toast again.
Oh, let's do it. All right.
So we're gonna. So surely by this point in the show, we've already toasted once. So we're gonna toast a second time to our Patreon producers. We're gonna toast to Redbeard Rick. My name is Effin Mayo, Sadek, and MZ Effin Nitro. A little ASMR for all you freaking perverts out there. Awesome. All right, so Jeffrey, a little backstory here, okay? I'm going to go in the way back machine. I couldn't come up with an exact date, but I feel like you've been participating in our Loot Bros Facebook group for, 3-4 years at least?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think something like that. Maybe about 6.
Okay,
years at least,
so
like
there
that.
you guys. Wow, you really dated us there. Thanks.
Well,
6-year-old
that was
podcast, and we still aren't successful.
you.
Wow.
Just you.
Easy, killer, easy. All right, so you've been hanging out with us for a while. So you've been participating in the memes. You've been laughing at the jokes. You've been celebrating the Snyder Cut. I mean, don't tell them if you really weren't. All right, so all the things that we do in the Facebook group. But one of the things that I've kept in the back of my head for years and years and years now is that you were part of a YouTube channel. And if I hope I'm saying it correctly, it was Always on Top Gaming. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. Were you ever actually on top?
yeah. So it was me and a few other guys. We all used to work together, and we were obsessive over Battlefield.
Yeah.
And we were together as a clan. We were literally always on top. That's kind of just where the game. I forgot who came up with the name of it, but that's just where it came from, as far as the origin of why we called it that. I can't remember exactly who in the group thought of that.
All right. Well, whoever it was smarter than me, because I named things like Ninja Loot Bros. My naming convention sucks, so that's much better.
Call of Duty, Dookie Loot, Evolution.
That's right. I do loot, swoop, and pull.
Looter Lands.
There you go. So awesome. So why don't you tell us a little bit about like your time with content creation? Like, I mean, you don't have to give specific numbers. You said you don't really do that anymore?
Not really. Sometimes I do the whole Facebook Live thing, mainly just for fun. I know for a while we were trying to do something like, hey, maybe we can make some money off of this, but I think it was just work in general, just kind of got in the way. Work, family. That's kind of what.
Yeah, I understand that. So we've had some larger YouTubers on the show before. We've had some other channels. We've had comic book creators. We've had voice actors on the show. And one of the things I wanted to do was to reach into the community and just bring on somebody who made content, who posted in, and worked in our community a little bit. But also to kind of just like have that conversation about content creation, what all really entails and what it looks like getting things started, and maybe even talk about some of the struggles, some of the things that worked, some of the things that didn't work. Now, you guys, like you said, played Battlefield. Now, was that predominantly the type of content that you make, that you guys made? Yeah.
It was mainly, it started with Battlefield 4, and then once 1 came out, that was all we played.
Awesome. And how was the reception of the content that you made? I mean, did you get did you stream? Did you make actual videos? Like what was kind of your expertise?
A little bit of both. I always liked streaming just because I feel like it's a little easier than sitting there and splicing things together. And then, of course, if you pick the wrong song, you get the copyright
Oh yeah.
thing. And then it's like, yeah. And I didn't know then that there's all these, like, there's these other YouTube channels where you can get the music from there, the no copyright or something.
Yep.
Yep.
Awesome. So when you streamed, did you play PC or were you playing console?
Then it was console, it was PS4.
Yep. So you streamed straight from the console?
Yeah. I didn't get back into PC until, I think, last year because couldn't find the systems. And then we started getting all them stimulus checks. I was like, you know what? Just kidding.
I can buy a 3080.
And I just like the whole with Steam. Like recently, I've been playing like the Black Mesa game. I can't get that on PS4.
There you go.
The Half-Life remake, and I just miss PC in general.
Okay, one of those guys. Well, yeah. All right, all my PlayStation fans, y'all just hang tight. We're gonna make it through this one together. We got another PC guy in here, but that's okay. They don't know the error of their ways.
You know what I know I can do on my PC? I can play Steam, I can play Xbox, and I can play PlayStation on my PC.
Yeah. So I'm gonna jump back into the actual conversation we're having here. So when it comes to streaming and making content, you're going up against, as a small time streamer and content creator, you're going up against like all the big guys, the ones who are like playing professionally. That's what they do. They eat, sleep, breathe. I mean, like, when you get on there and you stream and you're putting up against, all the people online, did you build enough of a community to interact with and have fun? Or was it like a lot of streaming or making content for yourself, hoping that people would watch it?
I think it's more the latter, just hoping people were going to watch it. I mean, if we had, I don't even remember how many subscribers we had. I think on my personal one, I think I got 160 subscribers. Like, I don't even know where they even came from because I don't even have anything on there. I got like one video that's got a lot of views. It's like Outlast video.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it was just us, just throwing stuff together. I mean, originally it was really putting a lot of time and effort into putting a video together. Then I think towards the end it was just like, I'm just gonna throw something together and just kind of half it.
Were you having fun?
Yeah.
There you go. So the reason why I ask these questions isn't necessarily to put you on the spot or really dig into the numbers, but I kind of want to like highlight the struggle of making content and getting things going, getting things started. Because like, Zach and I, we've been behind the scenes kicking around a lot of ideas, right? And Zach and I, we really like making content. Zach's a streamer. Okay. He's been streaming on Twitch up until his work schedule got super haywire. Zach's been streaming on Twitch for a while. I've been making podcasts for years. I mean, you were over here dating me earlier, and it's like, man, come on now. I like to tell people I've been doing this for like a year or two, not 6 years. But you know what I'm saying? Like, we've been doing this for a while, man. And it is that thing. It's like, it is fun to do, and it's fun to interact with people. But like, sometimes you do kind of feel like you're spinning your wheels, and you feel like you're kind of doing it for nobody. But, we, like I said, we've brought people on that's like, yeah, you kind of spend a little bit of time doing it for nobody. And then when it strikes, it strikes. I mean, did you guys have any success to where you're like, man, it did feel like for a little while things were picking up and you were building momentum?
Yeah, I think in the beginning, because I forgot, it might have been in the actual Facebook group. We were sharing some videos and getting a lot of attention there.
Heck yeah. Now, I saw you streaming on Facebook the other day.
Yeah.
Right. So how's your luck been with Facebook?
That's actually the first time I did it. I was trying out the NVIDIA. I think that's what it is. Yeah, and it's real easy. You just Alt-Z. It gives you the option to sign into Facebook, and there you go. I just want to try it out to see how it was. I was playing the Black Mesa game.
Gotcha.
Trying that out.
So is that something you think you're going to jump back into, or just kind of dipping your toe in?
I might get back into it. A lot more simple because I don't know I can't remember what it was with PlayStation you had to do. I think it was it Share Factory or I don't even think you can do it on Facebook anymore, can you? Didn't they take that away from the...
Yeah, with PlayStation you can't do it on Facebook with the PlayStation anymore. You have to do it through Twitch or YouTube. So Twitch integration is pretty simple. I mean, you just hit the share button. If you're logged in, it goes straight to it. I mean, it's like sometimes it's like 2 buttons and you're done. So the only thing that stinks about, and I love streaming too. Like, it's weird. It's this love-hate relationship rather. I love streaming because I love interacting with the community, and I love, like, to me, that's like about as good as sitting in the room gaming with somebody as we get, you know, being across the country, across the world. I mean, Zach and I are across the country from each other. So it's like, we're not really going to have the opportunity, maybe a handful of times in our life, to sit next to each other and pass the controller. But we can get on a call or get in a Discord chat, you know, and get on Facebook, get on Twitch or what have you, and we can play a game and have a conversation, you know, and it's, you know, this little window right here. This little 32-inch window right here is like just about as close as I want to get to Zach, actually. That was a joke, by the way.
Smells like poop socks in here.
So, yeah, there you go. But see, and so, like, there, you know, again, I kind of want to just kind of stay on that. You know, the ease of content creation, it reminds me, and it's very similar to the ease of making music. You know, like, it used to be, you really had to go out of your way to get music out and produced and in front of people. So everyone had these really garbage sounding demos, and it was like, oh my God, if I could just get in the studio, if I could just get this to sound good. And now it is so easy. I mean, you have freaking GarageBand on your phone now. It is so easy to make music. And then in a couple buttons, I can have it on Spotify and iTunes. That, like, now the struggle is getting someone to stop what they're doing to pay attention to you, because they're getting just slammed with everything fighting for your time, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Zach, I'm sure you can jump in on that one and just talk about, like, how hard it is. Like, if you're not consistent with your stream and your content creation, what happens to it?
It falls off 110%. Like, I was thoroughly surprised this last time. So I went on a hiatus because of work, and then I came back for about 3 months or so, and everything started, like, picking up. Like, I was steady every week, Wednesday, Friday, every week, same time, streaming for like 3 months. And I started going back from 2 viewers per stream all the way back up to I was getting like 15 to 20. So in a 3 month period, that's really good. I had a fairly successful subathon celebrating my 2 years as an affiliate. Or sorry, my 2 years of stream. My 2 year affiliate mark's not until December, but you know, I had a little bit of success in that. But it's, you know, I'm falling off again, and if I ever start back up, it's going to start straight back from the beginning. It's going to be 2 to 3 people.
Yep, and that was kind of my thing too. Is like, so it used to be when we would stream the podcast, we would have a few dozen people on a Friday night or Saturday night, whenever we would record, you know, and stream the podcast. We have a few dozen people in there, and then it was like build momentum. And then the minute you break off of that, or the minute that you kind of like deviate, then it's like 3, 4, 5, 6 people, you know, and it's like, oh man, you know, just get killed them. It does. It's a bit of a buzzkill. And then, so we stopped for multiple reasons. We stopped streaming the podcast. And I've considered over the years doing it live again. The Trophy Whores are finding some pretty good success right now doing theirs live. And there's a lot of community interaction. I like getting in there, and I'm usually cooking dinner whenever they're recording on Sunday nights. And I like to get in there and talk a little trash and listen to the guys. So that, like, you know, it is fun to do, but it's like, if you deviate from that schedule, and like, my life is too chaotic. So then, like, for I don't know, a couple months, me and my kids were streaming on Sunday nights. That was the Sunday night spooky Sunday stream or whatever. We were doing the Five Nights at Freddy's games, and yeah, we were doing a bunch of stuff. And you know, we had this thing going where if they got jump scared, they had to announce to the stream that they're a scared little weenie. And we started getting, you know, 6 to 8, you know, people watching. Yeah, I think once or twice we crossed into the 13 range, which that's not a lot of people. But if you think about it like this, and this is and the whole point of this conversation tonight is for the people that are listening, they're thinking about creating content. You know, we've brought on RTG85, and he's, you know, got hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and, you know, he makes videos and gets tens of thousands of views on whatever. And we brought on the guy from Nintendo Quest, Jay, and this is about, like, just small time creators talking about, like, the struggles or whatever. But if you think about 13 people in the room with you, that's a lot of people. If you think about 13 people standing around you while you play video games, that's it's a lot more awkward, actually, if you think about the people actually standing in the room with you opposed to just sitting on a screen and watching and interacting with you. So I would highly encourage, and that's kind of what I want to do with this, this conversation tonight. And I would highly encourage you, Jeffrey, actually, if you decide to get back into it, post in the group. I for one will watch your stuff. I would highly encourage that. I know there's a handful of people that do stream occasionally and then do put that stuff in the group. And I've never been one of those people to take our group and say, hey, you can't post in here. This is mine. I've always encouraged it, and I've always tried to get behind everybody, because I would hope that people would do the same for me.
Yep. But
I definitely would love to encourage people to say, hey, you know what, if maybe you only have 5, 6, 10, 20 subscribers, keep going. Keep posting in there. Now, William Ridgway, I want to give a shout out to him. He posts videos and him streaming in the group week after week. We've had conversations. I've actually invited him on the show. I was like, hey man, you want to come on and show you? I don't really know what I could talk about. I don't have a huge subscriber base. And I'm like, I'm not that guy. I don't care about your numbers. Like, this is a community. And I want to give you the opportunity to talk about what you do. How else are you going to grow if someone doesn't lean in and support you? And I don't know if I'm doing a good job of that, but I mean, like, Zach, he started streaming. Zach was streaming and doing his thing, and I reached out and I was like, hey, why don't you do the podcast with us? As a matter of fact, you did the podcast with us a couple times back when Frosty was there, and then you come back later on, like almost like a year anniversary or 2-year anniversary. You're like, hey man, I ain't been on the show in a while. I was like, you know what? You're freaking right. Let's go. And then now
I was on the show, and then it was, hey, you got to come back soon. And then it was, hey, we really enjoyed having you on. Do you want to do this every week? And I was like, you know what? Why not? I enjoy doing it a lot, and connecting with somebody, because Daryl's from where I'm at. So there have been many opportunity where I could have met Daryl just out of whimsy for whatever reason.
We could have accidentally bumped into each other.
Yeah. But it's kind of nice to feel like I'm still, I'm still there.
Yeah. Home is where the heart is, they say. Basically, what I'm getting at is, Jeffrey, you want to join the podcast? I'm just kidding. For now.
You don't want to do this with us every week. Trust me.
So
even Joe was like, yeah, she's got dance lessons on Thursday. Sorry, bye.
Yeah. Joe's like, I got a Botox appointment every Thursday. But no, Jeffrey, I know I've done a lot of rambling, and Zach's done a lot of talking. But is there anything that you want to share about your time making content and dabbling in it? Is that something that you'd be interested in doing again? Do you have any tips or tricks or encouragement for anybody who's making stuff right now?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Like I said, I would like to get back into it. And I probably will. It's kind of, like I said, with family and having kids and work. Because I work in food distribution, so it's like our numbers picked up when COVID hit, and they haven't slowed down and all that stuff, working in warehouses. But I guess tips would be just don't stop, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I know, I listened to some other podcasts, and they were talking about, it's comedians. They're talking about the whole thing about doing their first show live, and they're like, man, I feel like I suck or whatever. And it's funny too, because some of these comedians telling these stories like Dave Chappelle talking about how he bombed so many times doing stand-up, and then look at him now.
He's the GOAT.
Yeah. Like people like him and Joe Rogan talking about how, I think it was Bill Burr too, they were saying the same thing. Like, it's like they felt like quitting right there.
Yep.
Because of how bad it was. And that's like years of doing that.
So Dude, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I was saying just just keep doing it.
Man, there's some days where I'll look at our podcast numbers and I go, man, we've been doing this for 6 years. That's crazy to think of how much we put into it, how many hours of editing alone. And then there's some weeks where it's like, oh, dang, we got a huge spike, It ebbs and flows. And the thing that keeps me coming back with our community specifically is we've got a healthy handful of people that interact with us that talk with us, that play games with us, and they're constantly pouring back into the show. I'm not even talking about like Patreon subscriber wise. I'm just talking about like the interaction, Like I've met Zach, Joe, and Kalai through this show. Redbeard Rick, friggin' MZ, JT, the commissioner, friggin' Gaz. I mean, shoot, like friggin' Gaz Davis, which, I mean, Gareth, you guys know him in his gamer tags Gaz, but I mean, in the podcast groups, Gareth. I've said on the show multiple times, like, our two families just met up from across the world and had a friggin' blast together. So that's the kind of thing that keeps me encouraged, it keeps me coming back, is because no matter what our numbers look like and no matter what our downloads and subscribers, none of that stuff really matters. Like, honestly and truthfully, none of that stuff matters. Now, I know if you get into you're doing your hobby and you want to make it your career or whatever, it does matter that way. But like, for what we do here and what we offer here, it doesn't really matter, because the people that we have met along the way have been so friggin' awesome, and we've had so much fun with them. Like the other day, Gaz and I got on online and we freaking platinumed Onrush together. That was good. That was fun. There's been times where MZ and I have gotten online, and my youngest, and we played Minecraft and knocked out some multiplayer trophies together, just having a good time. As a matter of fact, my youngest keeps asking me when we're going to play Minecraft with MZ again. He doesn't really know who MZ is, but it's just, he knows him from the chat. We played some games together. So it's been a very fun and fulfilling hobby, Yep. And Zach and I guess, we'll kind of work our way into announcing this. This will be like our quote soft announcement on everything. But, Zach called me the other day and he's like, "Hey man, I got these ideas." And I'm like, "Dude, I've been kicking around some very similar ideas." So we've been behind the scenes, just kind of like, how can we take what we do and add to it without interfering with what we already do and our already commitments? Because Zach is a family man. He's got a wife. He's got a kid. I obviously have a wife. I've got kids. You guys have heard my kids on the show numerous times. And so one of the things we're talking about doing right now is, because both of us have this desire and this urge for physical game collection and physical media collection. I mean, Jeffrey, like, you and I just met up the other day and you sold me a bunch of comic books, and that was, we're sitting there talking and I was like, "Hey, you want to come on the podcast?" And you looked at me, you're like, "Sure, let's go." And like, that's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was like we've been interacting in the same place for so long, but then we meet up and I'm like, "You know what? Come on the show. Let's go. Let's do this." And that's how I work. And by the way, that might not be good, but sometimes it just shoot from the hip like that. But Zach and I have been coming up with this idea, and Zach, I'm going to let you actually, announce the details, but essentially we are going to be challenging each other to find physical games. And we're going to set some parameters, and we might even let the community lean in and set these parameters, but we're going to be making some videos of us hunting physical games in a challenge back and forth. So Zach, why don't you go ahead and just kind of fill in the details?
So we were kind of bouncing around the idea of, hey, let's do some crazy off the wall challenges with each other, kind of get the community involved, get each other kind of going and see what we could do. While making it kind of fun and interactive for the both of us. So one of our biggest rules for these challenges is, since Daryl is always picking up video games at flea markets and other various stores, we can only shop at physical locations or over Facebook Marketplace, where we have to physically meet up and hold the game in our hand. So no buying on Amazon, no buying on eBay, no buying on any online retailer whatsoever. And then from there, we'll determine, hey, like for October, we're bouncing around the idea of challenging each other to, say, find the rarest horror game that we can find. And we're gonna delve a little bit more into the details later, but whoever can find the rarest horror game in the month of October.
Yep.
And then and kind of recording our journey, the different stores we go into to look for all the stuff. Pawn shops, flea markets, physical GameStop locations, and stuff like that. And then we're each going to have our own video, and then come together at the end of both of our videos, and that's where we'll post kind of like our like conversation and kind of show off what we got.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So one of the things we've been talking about doing is, well, I won't spoil all the ideas we've got, but we got a handful of fun ideas, things that really interest the both of us.
Yep.
And, for the most part, it'll take a while, just like any content creation, just the theme of, like I'm talking about tonight. And it's going to take a while to build up some traction, but who knows, how it'll go. But we don't do a lot of video content. And we've all three discussed, from having families and having full-time jobs, sometimes the streaming isn't the most. You got to have a schedule. You got to be consistent. Yeah. And we can't always do that. So Zach and I are like, what can we do in our own time that doesn't require us to be in the same place at the same time, that doesn't take away from our families? What are we already doing? Oh, dang, we're always going out and buying video games. So what if we challenge each other to, hey, this month's challenge, Zach proposed, we go get a spooky game, the rarest spooky game, and we'll set a budget, like we ain't trying to break the bank. I surely ain't trying to get in no trouble.
You telling me? That's
right. So who can get the rarest game for the cheapest amount of money in the month of October? And I think that's a very fair, very fun idea, because now I'm already going to the flea market on Wednesday mornings after I drop the kids off to school. I'm going to the flea market on Saturday mornings before soccer. Sometimes I go on Sunday mornings before church. This week alone, I'm gonna tell you guys a couple stories, right? So here's what I do. I go and I buy a bunch of stuff. Okay, I buy lots and lots of stuff for a few bucks here, a few bucks there, whatever, right? And then I take out what I want, right? What I need to add to my collection, and then what I've got duplicates of, or things that are unnecessary, because I bought a game stack, a stack of games, and there's like one or two games I wanted out of it, but the rest of them I don't need. Well, if there's something that's worth me actually packaging, listing, and shipping on eBay, I'll sell it on eBay, or I'll put it in a bin. I've got this one specific bin, and then I'll fill the bin up. And as I fill the bin up, then I go to one of my local gaming stores and I trade it in. And I'll get like a bunch of stuff that I really like. Okay. Now, what I've been doing lately is I've been going in these stores. And so I'll go to one store and they might only take 3/4 of my bin. Well, then I wait till the bin fills back up. And then I go to the next store. And then I'll trade in whatever I can. And then so forth and so on to all the local shops around. Okay. Now I've been making relationships with people. So I've actually invited some of them on the show to talk about their stores, to promote their business, and to talk about what it's like to be, to run a local game shop, to be in that physical market in a world that's running to digital. So it's been pretty interesting. So we're going to have some of the local game shop owners on the show in the coming weeks, which I'm very excited to talk to them about that. One guy, he was like, dude, I don't want to be on video. I don't want to talk on the show, but I'll tell you anything you want to know right now. He told me dude, oh my gosh. He said, I got 400 PS2s. He was like, he said it took me $60,000 to get my store started. I was just like, what? He was awesome, man. He's like, man, I got rooms full of this stuff. He showed me this stack. He goes, I got Xbox Ones and PS4s and Xbox 360s and PS3 stacked to the freaking ceiling in this room over here. It was awesome. I mean, they're all boxed up and ready to go. So anyways, I was having this conversation and I'm just been trying to meet the local game store people, because, we see GameStop ebbing and flowing. Yeah, some days it seems like GameStop's going to shut down and go away any day. And then now digital media has outsells physical media, especially ever since COVID. So it's like, physical game collecting is getting more and more expensive. It's getting harder to find the really good stuff. And I just was like, you know what? I'm going to take some of this stuff a little more serious and then create a game for myself when it comes to buying, collecting, and selling. And then as I'm meeting people, as I'm talking to people, I'm like, let's talk on the show. Let's build this physical game community a little, make it a little stronger, a little deeper. So I say all that to say that, then Zach calls me up with this idea and I'm like, bro, we are like seriously on the same wavelength right now. Like I'm feeling this. So I'm pretty excited about it. And again, I'm so excited, in fact, that I met Jeffrey in a parking lot to buy comic books. And I was like, hey, come on my show, let's talk. So,
enlighten us with your ways of content creation.
Yeah, so I hope that it's not. I hope it's not awkward for you. You know what I'm saying? Like most people, when they come on the show, they're a little nervous at first and they don't really know what they're getting into. And I didn't really debrief you too much, other than, hey, we're going to talk about, you did some YouTube stuff, you do some Facebook gaming. We're going to talk about content creation. Let's go. So
I wasn't that awkward. It was just kind of like, yeah, sure.
There you go. So yeah, I'll be in your stinky show. It's fine. So, Jeffrey, before we turn you loose, because we know you're a busy guy and you got, I said we'd keep it, 30, 45 minutes. So why don't you end our time together with what games you've been playing? I know you said Black Mesa, but what else have you been playing?
Black Mesa. All right. So I have a problem on Steam. Every time they do a sale, I end up buying stuff. So there was Doom Eternal, which I had played it on PS4, but I think it was like $10 on Steam. So it's like, why not?
Yes.
Right now, Black Mesa, got the new Call of Duty pre-ordered.
Okay.
Yes.
I played the beta a little bit because I skipped the last two. I played a little bit of Black Ops
Cold War.
Cold War, yeah. I played a little bit of it. I like the zombies, but
that zombies is good.
Zombies is good. Did you play the campaign?
I don't think I beat it.
You should.
Yeah, I thought the campaign was really good.
Yeah, I've always actually liked the campaigns on Call of Duty. It's the multiplayer that's,
yeah,
here hit or miss,
hit or miss kind of thing. Yeah, with right now it's just Black Mesa, which I need to finish. Damn, what else am I playing? I beat this Village. No, that was last year.
Yeah. That's a good game. We're getting ready to get the gold edition. It's got the third person mode. It plays that freaking Resident Evil Village in third person. Oh, I can't wait.
I know there's more DLC too, right? There's what's the other DLC that's coming out for that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So the gold edition comes out in October, and it is going to be the Rose DLC, the story of Rose, I believe is what it's called. Yeah. Essentially, Ethan Winter's daughter. You get to play as her. And then that's going to be in third person. So what they're doing is they're in this gold edition, they're allowing you to replay the entire game in third person because it was a first person game. Yeah. Third person makes my PB go doing. Yeah. So I'm stoked.
Anything Resident Evil makes his PP go doing.
And it make my PP go doing. I can't wait, dude. Can't freaking wait.
And I'll definitely be picking up 4 that comes out next year.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Oh, my gosh. So we're getting ready to go through a survival horror, just, I guess, golden era. Because we're getting ready to have Callisto Protocol in December. So let's back it up. The Resident Evil Village Gold with the third person mode and the DLC in October. Then we're going to have Callisto Protocol in December, Dead Space Remake in January, Resident Evil 4 Remake in March. They announced Alan Wake 2 and the new Alone in the Dark game. I mean, can't wait.
Didn't they just have a trailer too for Dead Space? Is that a remake?
Yeah, the remake is coming out in January. It looks amazing. It looks really, really good. The lighting in it is incredible. Like it's crazy because we just played Dead Space for a game club for the podcast. We played with the community a couple months ago, and the game still holds up. It's so good. And we had the conversation on the show. I don't know that we need a remake. I don't know. But myself and Matt, we're like, okay, you know what? This will be good. We have a good, fresh baseline for what this game was. So we'll really know when we play in January if this is good or bad. And then I saw the videos and like I said, the lighting, like Isaac standing there shooting a necromorph and the lights flickering on and off around him changes the atmosphere. Like it's something so subtle. I'm like, oh my gosh, that looks amazing. So I'm stoked. I'm so stoked. Anything else you want to say or add before we get out of here?
I don't think so. I can't think of anything.
All right. Zach, you got any closing thoughts?
Yeah, Jeffrey, where can the people find you on Facebook if they want to catch you or a Facebook stream, and where can they watch some of them old YouTube videos that you guys were sharing?
Oh, let me see real quick.
We'll include the links, but like, what's the title of your channel on Facebook?
Well, Facebook, it was just my Facebook page. I don't have a legit, so they have to actually look me up.
Oh, look at them digits. So you can just post your videos in the Loot Bros Facebook group anytime you want to go live or anytime you want to stream. Just post it in the Loot Bros Facebook group, and we'll ban you.
What? Hit that share button.
I'm just the old bait and switch. I just want you to join my group. I want you to post your videos, follow my podcast, and then once I've had my fill, ban.
You dork.
Got him.
What? You said Tricky's here? What?
Hey, that's my boy.
Oh, I know.
Boy, Tricky. So awesome. So yeah, and it was Always on Top Gaming?
Yeah, that was the one we had. It was me and a few co-workers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Awesome. Well, Jeffrey, thank you so much for coming on the show and talking shop with us, talking content creation from the little guy's perspective, because we're all little guys here. Thank you, Zach, for coming on here and talking shop in this 4+ hour podcast that we did. Can't believe we talked that long. I mean, it's just, we talked so much, we lost Joe and Kalai.
That doesn't surprise me.
No, well, they suck. As a matter of fact, if you're listening to the show right now, make sure you mention to Joe and Kalai, say, hey, sorry about your butts. This has been Loot Bros Podcast, and we're out of here.
Peace. You couldn't get your legs good.